Germany's economy is going through some tough times right now. It used to be this big powerhouse in Europe, but things have taken a turn for the worse, and it's got the eurozone a bit flustered. So we're gonna break it down for you. We're just that nice. We'll dive into what's causing Germany's economic decline, what it means for the eurozone, and the challenges the government is facing in dealing with these issues. So grab your utensils and napkin because we've got a lot to chew on. Now, Germany's economy has been struggling to bounce back from COVID-19 compared to other European countries, and now they've officially slipped into a recession. It's not a sudden crash, but more like a slow and steady decline, kind of like the Hindenburg. That's a good one, yeah. So some experts even say there's no quick fix in sight, pointing to falling indicators in the manufacturing sector. In the first quarter of this year, the German economy shrank by 0.3%, and the previous quarter saw a contraction of 0.5%. Meanwhile, the rest of the eurozone managed a bit of growth at 0.1%. So what's causing all of this? Well, one major factor is the high energy prices caused by the war in Ukraine. Germany heavily relies on energy imports from Russia, so with the cost going up and the supply getting disrupted, it's been a real challenge. On top of that, Germany's got some structural issues in its economy that the current government just can't seem to fix. These underlying problems have contributed to the overall decline. You guys still want more information? Alright, how about this? So, Germany's economy is a big deal. It's the largest in the eurozone, accounting for almost 30% of the whole bloc's output. So when Germany's economy is in trouble, it could drag down the entire eurozone with it. That's why everyone's a bit on edge about this. It's not just about Germany itself, because we can always find a new Germany, but rather its role as the biggest trading partner for more than half of the EU could become a problem. So if Germany keeps going downhill, it could lose its influence within the European Union and shake up the whole economic decision-making process. But things also aren't looking too great on the political front either. I know that's a bit of a bait and switch, I tricked you there. The governing coalition in Berlin is already dealing with disagreements on budget and climate policies. With the economic problems piling up, tensions among the coalition partners are likely to get worse. Plus, there's a survey that shows many Germans don't even think the coalition will last until its term ends in 2025. Chancellor Olaf Scholz is trying to stay positive and optimistic about the future, but let's be real. It's not going to be easy to turn things around. The economic difficulties and internal conflicts within the government are major obstacles to implementing effective policies. So there are a bunch of factors contributing to Germany's economic troubles. People have less money to spend, so consumer spending has gone down. Businesses are also cutting back on investments, which isn't helping the situation. On top of that, tighter monetary policies and weaker growth in the US are having external effects on Germany. Add in the war in Ukraine, demographic changes, and the transition to cleaner energy, and you've got a recipe for long-term problems. A friend of the channel who doesn't actually know he's a friend of the channel, Peter Zeihan, also dives into the situation Germany is facing with Russia and their support for Ukraine. When they joined the rest of the NATO bloc in sanctioning Russia, Germany was left scrambling to find other suppliers, but the alternative options were more expensive. Now, generating electricity and producing petrochemicals is becoming too costly for Germany and is putting their entire manufacturing model at risk.
The Russians basically told the Germans, you can be modern and industrialized and neutral, or you can choose to be Western and lose everything. And the Germans went with option B. And now that Nord Stream has been blown up, there's no going back, even if we had a government shift in Germany and Russia today. So we are looking at nothing less than the complete collapse of the German manufacturing model in just the next year or two.
But despite some people criticizing Germany for not providing enough weapon support to Ukraine, Zeihan argues that Germany's economic sacrifices outweigh what other countries have done. He even predicts that Germany's manufacturing model will collapse in the next year or two. However, when the German consulate in Kiev was hit by bombings, they quickly responded by delivering air defense systems to Ukraine. So, despite the economic challenges, Germany may be recognized for making significant sacrifices and contributions to Ukraine. Looking ahead, Germany was already expected to slow down the eurozone's growth. The European Commission's forecasts show Germany's growth rate to be lower than the average for the eurozone. The They're projecting growth of 0.2% for this year and 1.4% for next year, while the rest of the eurozone is looking at 1.1% and 1.6% respectively. So the future is uncertain, and it's a challenge for both Germany and the eurozone as a whole, not to mention that a strong German economy is crucial for the stability and strength of the eurozone. All things considered though, Germany took a massive sacrifice by sanctioning Russia, and now they're left to figure out what their next move is. However, this is something that Germany and really the rest of Europe has done to itself. They've antagonized Russia for so long, kept buying their oil, but never stopped to imagine that Russia could just cut their supply altogether. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Now, fortunately, this means that Europe is trying to find alternative energy solutions which include green energy, so in the long run, this just might be a good thing. But if you want to learn more about what's going on in Europe, you might enjoy this video of ours talking about the imminent EU housing crash after a decade of uninterrupted growth. So yeah, the tides in Europe are definitely turning, so if you want to keep up to date on all things related to geopolitics, the economy, and technology, then stick around by subscribing and liking this video to show us what content you'd like to see from us. As for now, that's all we have for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, take care.